But this all the manifest we have to create in the master node or in the worker node.
See, whenever we interact with the container, with the Kubernetes, okay, now we have full access to the master and the worker node, whatever it may be, okay. But in the production environment, we do not get an access to master and worker node, okay. We will be given a config file, okay. So let me first log in. So depending on the cluster, the config file may be created in different ways. In micro K8s, we get this configuration file. Okay, this config file will be given to you. Okay, you have to use it in the 192. The server is in 192.168.1 dot range. Okay, so on any server, okay, or any PC or any laptop which has the IP range 1.11, you need to copy this file. Okay, then you can authenticate with the that cluster, and we will not even come to know we are working on a master node or a worker node. But as we have only one VM, everything is on the same VM. Okay, and at the time of installation, this config file was automatically added on this 1.11 VM. Okay, if I copy this config.vm file on some any other VM, okay, 1.13 or 1.14, which is not a master or a worker node, then also I can authenticate with the cluster and I can run the commands. Okay, so we don't have to remember on which node we are working, and we don't even get the access to the nodes. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, I got.
Okay, now let's perform the exercise, and the theory is already given here. Okay, the same link whatever we learned just now. And if you go to this API reference, let me open it in the new tab. Okay, so if we go here, service resource, service. So if you don't remember which version is the latest one, here we can get API version v1, and various other documentations are also available here. If I see here the deployment, let me see what it is gives. Okay, so deployments Kubernetes it is giving. So if you see, we can even get the complete configuration file. The only thing we need to remove is the name of the application. Instead of nginx, we can write here Apache or HTTPD or MySQL or a .NET, and just change the image as well. Okay, and again remember this image is downloaded from Docker Hub, so we can also go to Docker Hub, hub.docker.com, and check which is the latest version here, 1.14.2. so let's go to nginx. So documentation is important. We don't need to learn everything. Everything is given in the documentation, even the sample deployment.yml files. So if you go on, click on this nginx. Okay, so what is the version they are using? 1.14.2. So just for example, in case we want to use that version only, control F, control 14.2. So it is not taking it from here, but various tags are given like 1.25.4. If you want to take, we can take this. Okay, then main line, there are various tags available. Okay, or if you do only nginx, it will pull the latest image. So I'll start the lab now. So let's check kubectl get all command. So we have some pods, let's delete it. So what I'll do is I'll delete the deployment. It will automatically delete the pods. So let me check if I created, yesterday we created some namespaces. Let me delete those. Delete namespace, Dev and prod. Is it hung? kubectl get all, everything is clean here. Okay. So what I'll do is we'll start with the exercise. You can also follow along with me. It is not lengthy. Okay, so the exercise number 5 we are following. In this case, we'll be creating two namespaces, Dave and Prod, which we did yesterday as well. But before that, I did some cleanup. So the commands which I used was kubectl delete namespace, Dave Prod, and if you have the deployment, I also deleted the deployments. Okay. So if I do kubectl get all, everything is clean. And if I do kubectl get namespace ns, okay, we have only the default ones and also the default namespace. And yesterday we created the namespace using this imperative command. The command was kubectl create namespace dev, and then we created prod as well. Okay, the equivalent of that, the same thing we are doing using yml, and it is always recommended to do using YML, but we should also know the imperative commands. They are useful at the time of troubleshooting. So when we do kubectl get namespace, we'll see the default ones. Okay, these are all the default ones. If you have performed exercise yesterday, then you will also get the Dave and prod one. Delete those. Now what I'll do is I'll create a directory called manifest. Okay, that is not given, but it's better to create a directory and inside that do everything. So the manifest we are creating, so whatever YML files we write in Kubernetes are called as manifests. The first namespace I've created is dev. So if you remember, I said API version, kind, and metadata, these three lines are common. We change version 1 namespace and we give the name for the namespace, that is dev. For creating a namespace, it is very simple lines are used. Then let's use Dave. I'm just checking it with the cat command. Now next is we're creating for the prod namespace. Okay, only thing we change is the name of the namespace. So what we have done is we have created two manifests, that is Dave namespace and prod namespace. So first what we'll do is kubectl create, okay, dev namespace. Here I have given apply, okay, but create is also one of the command that I'm trying to explain. So when I do kubectl create, I have to give here -f, that use this file for creating the namespace. Okay, but after creating, if I make any some changes in this file and if I again run create, okay, it will say that it already exists. Okay, so to avoid that we didn't make any changes, it is always recommended, or best practice is always use apply instead of create. Always use apply. That's why here I have given example using apply. Okay, so we won't use create much, we'll be using only kubectl apply. Apply will create and it will also make any changes, if any, in the file. New changes, it will apply new changes as well. So if you see here, I've created dev namespace and prod namespace using kubectl apply command, that is using manifest kubectl get namespace. So if you see, we have a dev namespace and a prod namespace, and this completes our simple exercise.